Hey, I'm Emily with Bay Country, joined by Nick Nollenberger, the team broadcaster for the San Jose Barracuda. Nick, hey, how's it going?
It's going pretty good. How are you doing, Emily?
I'm doing well. It's so good to see you. I'm really excited for this partnership with Bay Country and the Barracuda.
Can't
So,
wait. Can't
yeah,
wait. I'm
I
so
know it's
excited
going to be
too.
so much fun. Let's kind of just talk about what viewers can expect for these videos that we have going forward, because this is the kickoff one. This is our very first one. So, what are we kind of setting up here for our viewers in the future?
Definitely. I figure first one, let's do a dry run with a broadcast. We'll throw me on so we don't have any other sacrificial lambs in the organization. Then we'll start getting coaches and players throughout the season. And it'll be a great way to connect between the station and, of course, our team and some of the personnel that make it up. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it'll be informative. It'll be educational. It'll get fans excited about what's to come in terms of promotions and who we're playing and how the team's performing and maybe players that are going up to the NHL and contributing with the Sharks are coming back to us, and that kind of yo-yoing effect that we see throughout the season between an American League team and an NHL team. So I'm excited. It should be a lot of fun and excited to kick this thing off as well.
I know. I feel like a lot has been going on in the off season too, with the Sharks and the Barracuda as well, though. So let's kind of talk about what's happened in the off season with the Barracuda. What are some maybe big changes that people should be aware of?
Well, sometimes you go into the off season and it's like crickets. There's nothing going on, and you kind of
Yep.
forget about hockey for a couple of months. This has been the complete opposite this summer. This has been the busiest summer I can remember in my 7 seasons with the team. We had a
Wow.
coach, Roy Sommer, who is our coach for 24 seasons, guiding the Sharks' top affiliate. They were in Kentucky, they were in Cleveland, they're in Worcester, and then San Jose. He's a Bay Area native. Well, he'd been with the organization for 26 years. They decided to make a change. They brought him into what was an advisor role, and they promoted John McCarthy, a former captain with the team, to become the new head coach of the club. He's been working with the prospects the last couple of years in kind of a developmental role. He had done a little bit of coaching. He had retired due to he suffered a stroke actually in his early 30s while he was playing for the Barracuda. He could have recovered, but would have had to sit out the remainder of the year. So instead, he began his post-playing career. He actually joined the coaching staff and was our assistant coach for the remainder of the season, and then took over this new role as kind of a development coach, working with the prospects, visiting prospects while they're back in junior and college, just to keep tabs on them. And now this year he'll take over as the head coach. So Roy actually has since moved on to your former club in the San Diego Gulls, and he has taken over that job, which it'll be fun to have that little rivalry stoked a little bit more to a
Yes,
10th
yes.
degree. So
Let's put that on the calendar
yeah,
because that'll be a fun one to.
100%. First thing I'm like circling. Our schedule just came out about a week ago. I'm circling when we're playing San Diego. But Roy is he's a legendary figure in the sport, and it's a great opportunity for him. We're really excited for him to continue to coach because that's where his passion resides, and he wasn't
Yeah.
quite done yet. So good on him. So the first big news article, I guess, if you will, on our about our team is the coaching change, and then of course the Sharks made a change with their general manager, which impacts the Barracuda and their prospects. We had the NHL draft, and the Sharks just hired their new head coach in David Quinn, and there's this Boston University connection between John McCarthy, our head coach, Mike Greer, our general manager now with the Sharks, and David Quinn. So there's this kind of woven connection between all the coaches and now the front office. So it has been quite the off season. So a long-winded answer. We've been very busy.
No, that 100%. And not just what's happening on the ice or the personnel, but also one of the biggest talking points that's been going on for a long time is the new arena. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people don't even know about, that the Barracuda have a new arena that they're going to play in. So that's I maybe we need to save that for later, but I'm so excited to kind of dive into it and talk about what people can expect to see in that arena, where it's at, what's kind of the exciting things that are developing around that.
Yeah, we are not officially an expansion team, but in a sense, it almost feels that way because we're going to go into this new arena. We're going to have new uniforms. We've got a completely different looking staff. We're going to have a new crop of players and new coaching staff, and we're going to have this brand new, sparkly new arena as well.
Mhm.
So, for people who don't know, the Barracuda moved to San Jose in 2015 as part of this westward expansion, where all these California And Western NHL teams, they wanted to get their affiliate a little bit closer, makes sense. So you aren't flying prospects across country when you need to call them up, but you needed multiple teams to get on board. So it wasn't just one team on an island. So you had, if memory serves me correct, I believe there were 7 teams that originally came out west, including the Barracuda. Now, most of the teams, in fact, all the teams except for the Barracuda, had their own buildings to play in. They were scattered throughout California and in Arizona and Colorado have been additions to the division over the last few years. But the Barracuda played out of SAP Center. And although that was a thrill for many of us to be able to play out of an NHL arena, for myself included, broadcasting out of an NHL arena, it wasn't overly conducive for a quote unquote minor league team or an American League team. The expectation is not that we're going to draw 17,000 fans a night like the NHL teams. So you've got to have a small arena, one that is more fitting to an American League team. And that is what is about to become a reality for the team. It took several years. It was in the works since basically the team moved out west, but it took 7 years for it to come to fruition, 2 years to build, and it will officially be complete in August. Our grand opening will be August 24th.
Wow.
It'll be open to the public, although it's going to be the home of the Barracuda. It's also going to be used by figure skaters, youth hockey, adult hockey. Really is going to be a part of the community as well, beyond just being an entertainment venue for the team and for concerts and all these different things we can bring. It's also going to be able to be used by some of the players that use the facility already. Plus, hopefully it draws really cool events, maybe in the future, World Junior Championships, Frozen Fours. You can potentially turn it into maybe a basketball facility if you were looking to get a G League team or looking to get other exciting, entertaining things to come to the arena. So the possibilities are endless. There's this refreshed feeling of excitement among the team and among the staff. So I'm kind of the one holdover from the team. I think I'm the only one left over from the group prior to this add-on and prior to this change, but couldn't be more excited and really, to be honest, proud to be a part of this and can't wait to see what's to come.
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people don't kind of realize how important it is to have the AHL team in close proximity to the NHL team, because there's a lot of call-ups and things that go on and kind of shuffling back and forth. How do you kind of expect that this is going to be, like you mentioned, a refresh for the players to still be close to the NHL, but kind of have their own space and have their own arena to kind of, be a part of?
It's going to be massive for the players. And from a developmental standpoint, it's been a great marriage having the team in San Jose, because you have all the brass being able to watch the prospects. You walk 100 yards down the hall, you get to watch your American League players and the players that you want to maybe call up and have contribute to your NHL team. Then for players, there's a sense of, okay, I'm not getting forgotten about. I'm not all the way back in Boston, was basically where the team was prior. So I know eyeballs are on me. I know I'm not getting forgotten about, and it could be a call up tomorrow morning that could be the difference between me going and playing the NHL. So for players, it's a good thing. For the staff, it's been a good thing. From a marketing standpoint, there have been challenges. Again, playing out of an NHL building, the fan support, if you had 3,000 people at a game, it still feels empty. And we had some awesome playoff games a few years back where we had the lower bowl nearly completely full, but you're still looking at close to 8,000 or 9,000 people. You've got to fill that lower bowl. So it's going to be great for the players, great for the fans. And what I'm looking most forward to is the atmosphere, because there was moments, and just to be honest, Tuesday night game where the arena was basically empty. At least it felt empty, and the players noticed that too. So just to have an atmosphere, I think, is going to be a huge bonus for the guys. There will be a home ice advantage. Players are going to be excited and proud to be playing for the team. And hopefully, maybe for a young kid wanting to play hockey, the connection to the sport comes via the Barracuda. It doesn't always come from the NHL team. We've got players too that can go into the community and involve themselves and intertwine themselves with the youth as well, who are interested in the sport or had no idea about the sport, but they can introduce it to them. So there's all these different facets that hopefully the community as a whole will be impacted by the team getting its own facility.
Yeah, definitely. I have to apologize real quick. My lights went out here in studio. I don't know if anyone's...
if you can tell, I've got an extra light behind me. I got one in front of me, but I got an extra light behind me. I wish I could pass it to you.
Yeah. I got my like really tiny ring light here, so I think we're good. But just kind of speaking about, the impact on the community for people maybe who are listeners of Bay Country who haven't been to a Barracuda game or haven't been to a hockey game. How is there kind of that, just talk real quick about that tie-in with community? I feel like the Sharks organization, the Barracuda, they do so much in the community. So how can kind of people get involved in hockey that maybe have never been to a game?
Well, what the great thing is, as we continue to hopefully separate ourselves from COVID, the Sharks and the
Mhm.
Barracuda are going to begin to make their ways back into schools and begin to work their way back into the youth programs and get into the community where players are visiting schools and visiting events, and you see the logos in the community. The Sharks have been a great supporter, obviously, of many initiatives over the years, being the fact they've been here now for 30 years. The Barracuda is still somewhat of a new organization
Mhm.
coming again in 2015. So both organizations, although still under the same umbrella, we have our own identities, our own staff. So both, I think, make a great concerted effort to be involved in the community. And for the Barracuda, what we have maybe that's different than the Sharks is we really feel like we can appeal to maybe a different sector of the community. So maybe those families that are looking to come to a game at a different price point. Maybe they
Mhm.
can't afford a Sharks game, but they can afford a Barracuda game. Our motto is family fun, affordable family fun. So the price point is different. It's still a really, really high brand of hockey, arguably the second best league in the world. You have
Mhm.
players that play for the Sharks one night and the next day are playing for the Barracuda. So there's crossover constantly. But again, it comes at a different price point where you can bring your family and introduce them to the sport, and hopefully you fall in love with the sport just like we all have, where you go to a game and you're hooked. So
Yeah.
that's the vision, that's the goal, and we truly believe if we put hockey in front of people, they're going to fall in love with it just like we all have.
Yeah. And I totally agree with you. And I feel like in the American Hockey League, there's kind of like it feels like there's a lot more that you can do in as far as like a game presentation standpoint that maybe wouldn't fly in the NHL. So it's fun to kind of go to an AHL game and see everything that's going on. I feel like it's an experience that the whole family can get involved in. And I think we have some Bay Country themed nights too that we're doing at Barracuda games. Is that right?
Yes, 100%. We're gonna have kind of a weekly college night that Bay Country will be involved in, and then we're gonna have a big promotion night. One of our biggest promotions of the year is our Cuda Country Night, and it's very fitting that Bay Country is going to be a part of that. So there's tons of stuff in the works. We have full details on the partnership at sgbarracuda.com, but there's some awesome stuff we're going to do. But the biggest one, obviously, Cuda Country Night, but then our partnership with our college nights as well. And we're gonna have some awesome drink specials that are tied into Bay Country as well. So beyond just getting into the arena, enjoying some really high end hockey, you aren't going to break the bank when you're going to the concession stands as well, because it's just a different price point on all levels.
Yeah.
And we want people to come out, enjoy the sport, enjoy the game, enjoy the team. And as you mentioned, you like myself, you had to grind your way through the quote unquote minors. You spent several years in the AHL. You know firsthand what it's all about.
Yep.
It's a different animal, right? It's
Yes.
I think our leash is a little bit longer in the minor leagues,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
We
yeah.
can get away with a lot more stuff. So
Yeah.
and that's the approach too. I think when you play in an NHL building like we did, we've got to fall under the umbrella, as I mentioned, and kind of fall in line to maybe what some of the stuff the Sharks are doing. We can't go too far off the map. Now we're in our own building, and I think that opens up a world of possibilities on what we can do, and maybe it gets a little bit more wild, if you will, at
Yeah.
some of our games.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think fans who maybe haven't been to a game or haven't been to a Barracuda game outside of SAP, which obviously this is going to be the first time coming up this season, right? I think they're going to be pleasantly surprised with what the team has in store and kind of feeling like they now have a new home, which is always exciting for everyone. And
Big
I
time.
feel I feel like with hockey players, one of the biggest appeals is that they are so much more relatable, I think, to fans than other professional teams, professional sports. That's just kind of the experience that I've had. So, do you know of any players specifically who fans might really want to kind of keep an eye out for? Are there kind of fan favorite players that people who don't have any experience with the Barracuda might want to kind of connect with on social media or through your channels?
Big time. We have tons of personalities, and as you know, you work with Sharks players firsthand. They are as relatable as any pro athlete around, and I
Mhm.
think that's what again draws us to the sport. Working in the sport is just how friendly they are and how easygoing they are. From an interview standpoint, it doesn't take a lot. You don't have to pull their arm. We have lots of guys with good personalities. One guy that comes to mind, though, we had him last year, and he came out of nowhere. His name's Nick Cicek. Signed what's
Okay.
an AHL deal. It's kind of like a try. It's not a tryout, but in a sense, it is. And he played so well, he earned himself an entry level contract in NHL two-way deal. So now he has the opportunity potentially to get called up to the Sharks next year and be able to kind of do that yo-yo effect. And
Mhm.
great personality, one of the most outgoing guys you'll ever meet. Everybody who interviews him, I always give him a heads up. You're going to love this guy. You're going to enjoy it. So I recommend you, Emily, if you get a chance to chat with him.
Okay.
He's the guy to keep an eye out for. We've got some really good young players that are going to come into the mix this year. Excuse me. We've got Ozzy Weisblatt, who was our first
Mhm.
round draft pick from a couple of years ago. Tristan Robbins, our second rounder from that same draft class, will be joining the fold as well. So we struggled at the end of the year last year from a win-loss standpoint, but I think this year we're going to have a completely different team, and there's going to be a renewed excitement amongst the
Mhm.
group with the new arena. But it'll be fun. I'm still kind of get used to these guys as well because we're going to have so many new, fresh faces. But again, one guy to keep an eye out from a personality standpoint, Nick Cicek for Sharks and Barracuda fans, looking for that next crop of player, really good player, and beyond that, he's just a good guy and fun to chat with too because he's just brings that kind of positive, upbeat energy all the time.
Awesome. We'll have to maybe get him as
Yes,
one of these interviews
that
for
is
our
a must.
segments going forward. Okay, so are there any upcoming events or anything that's going on at the arena or with the team that fans should kind of keep an eye out for?
Big time. We just announced our regular season schedule. Our home opener is October 22nd against the
Okay.
Henderson Silver Knights, top affiliate of the Golden Knights. So you've got that little NHL rivalry there.
Yeah.
Our first preseason game and our only preseason game at home will be October 8th. We have not announced ticket details, but I think it's going to shake down. And this is maybe a little bit of a preview, but for our season ticket holders, it's going to be a free event or a very, very discounted ticket. So we want to get people into the building, and that'll be our first official Barracuda game, October 8th. That's a 4 o'clock start against the Bakersfield Condors. But our first real marquee event is the NHL Rookie Face-Off, which we're hosting this year. There's 6 teams that participate. We've been doing this for about the last 5 years, and a different team hosts every year. We kind of jumped the gun this year and skipped our turn or kind of maybe leapfrogged a couple of the teams just because we wanted to host it in the new arena. But it features 6 NHL clubs, 2 from the Central, Arizona and Colorado. And then you've got the Golden Knights, the LA Kings, Anaheim Ducks, San Jose Sharks will be involved in it as well. So I may be missing a club too. There's an additional team in it as well. But really fun event. It features the top prospects of all these NHL teams. They come into town and they play
Mhm.
3 games over 4 days. And you get to see some of the top prospects, whether they were drafted in this most recent draft or drafted in the last couple of years. So it's a unofficial kickoff to the hockey season because that leads into training camp and then into preseason and then into the regular season.
Yeah.
So that's the big event. Single game tickets are not on sale yet, but you can buy kind of a weekend pass.
Oh,
And for
okay.
full details, you can go to sgbarracuda.com as well for full details on it. But just a really fun event. And that'll be our first real big event at the new arena.
Awesome. When was that again? What's that date?
It starts September 16th. It'll
Okay.
go the 16th, the 17th, the day off on the 18th, which is a Sunday, and then we wrap it up early games on the 19th. It's a Monday. So again, really, really fun event. And all 3 Sharks games will be played at Texie Arena. And again, these teams play under their NHL names, so they'll wear the NHL jerseys. You know, it looks exactly like an NHL game, minus some of the big stars that you'd see in a normal game. It's just all the prospects. So really
Yeah.
fun event. It'll be a good way to kick off the arena.
That sounds like the perfect event too for the whole family to go to. Like that sounds like something that you could bring the whole family to kind of enjoy a weekend of hockey, get a little bit of different clubs here and there. And it'd be a great way, I think, for people who maybe don't know much about hockey or who are big hockey fans. It seems like it's kind of across the board for everyone to get a little taste of the Barracuda and the home arena.
Yeah, it'll kind
Mhm.
of whet the appetite for the season,
Yeah.
and it'll hopefully be a dry run for all of us working the building, so we can get some of those kinks out before the regular
Yeah.
season
There you
starts.
go.
But
There you go.
Yeah, it's a great event. And again, go to sjbarracuda.com for full
Perfect.
details, and it'll feature some of our top prospects who could play in the NHL this year. We saw a lot of guys, in fact, 4, I think, last year who played it and then ended up becoming full-timers with the Sharks. So
Awesome.
it could be a preview to some of the guys you'll see in the NHL next year as well.
Awesome. And when you mentioned jerseys, that reminded me of something at the beginning of our conversation. Did you say that the Barracuda are going to have new jerseys?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. We already revealed one of them. We got another one coming out in about a week and a half. And then I
Okay.
mentioned we've got our grand opening, which is August 24th. And it's actually only open to city officials, dignitaries, people within the organization. So not a public event, but we will be streaming it live so
Okay.
fans can watch, and we will be revealing our third and final jersey during the event as well. So whole
Awesome.
new jerseys, new arena, different players. I mean, it's like a completely different team. So
I know.
yeah,
I love it.
great.
This is so exciting.
Yes.
I think this is the perfect time to introduce, listeners of Bay Country to Barracuda and
Yep.
just kind of get everyone involved. This is such an exciting time.
Yeah, it is really
For
exciting.
both ends, right? Like
Yeah.
new Bay Country's relatively new, and Barracuda has all these new things coming up. So
Yeah. And I know the guys are going to be really, really excited about this partnership. We've talked about it a little bit off air, but for people who don't know hockey players these days, and maybe not forever, I think it was like heavy metal, hard rock 2 decades ago, but nowadays it's country. That is the go-to playlist in the locker room is country. So guys are going to be excited when we've got country tunes and sing-alongs going on during games, and we've got the partnership going full bore. So I know I'm excited about the partnership, and I think these interviews are fabulous, and the connection you have obviously with the Sharks and connecting Bay Country and the Barracuda together as well is it's perfect. The symmetry is excellent.
I love this so much. We're gonna have to get some of the guys in studio, maybe take
100%.
some calls, do some
Yes.
breaks.
I love
think that
that.
could be fun. So
Yes.
viewers can watch out for that for sure. Before I let you go, what are you looking forward to the most about this coming up Barracuda season?
Well, again, the new building is really, I mean, I just cannot wait. I've been calling games at SAP Center from the rafters. It feels like I'm on Mars at times. And the new arena, it goes 17 seats high. So there's not a bad seat in the house. It's really
Awesome.
like a junior hockey rink in many ways, and it's going to be raucous. And my positioning where they place me is just above the suite. So I'm basically looking down, and it's as if I'm in the lower bowl at SAP Center. So I'm really looking forward to my vantage point, just some of the things we have in store. We're looking to maybe get our team on TV this year as well, do some television games. That's going to be a huge bonus for our team,
Yeah.
showcase our brand and the players as well. So there are a ton of exciting things. It's just hard to look beyond the arena because it's like our shiny toy that we're waiting for Christmas, and it's only weeks away. So can't wait for that. And all the partnerships too, Bay Country and all of our partners who have been instrumental in kind of getting this thing off the ground. There's countless things to be excited about when it comes to the Barracuda.
Yeah, definitely. And I know we're going to have a lot more of these videos coming up for people to get information and kind of stay in touch. But where can people go in the meantime to get more information on the Barracuda?
100%. Go to our website, sjbarracuda.com. I have a weekly blog that I write, kind of gives you an update on just the status of the team, anything that's newsworthy in terms of transactional stuff, players coming and going, things around our division, the Pacific Division, try to kind of incorporate some of what the other teams are doing as well. So we have that. I have a weekly podcast as well, interview players. So you can, we have behind the scenes stuff constantly coming out. If you don't already, make sure to follow our social media channels.
Yeah.
We have quite the personality, I would say, on our Twitter channel.
I agree.
Yes. So one of the more, I would say, we've got personality in the way that it's most other teams don't. So it goes back to the minor league thing, but I would recommend it's an entertaining follow, to say the least.
Yes, I definitely agree. Well, Nick, I could talk to you forever. I feel like about my two favorite worlds, country music and hockey. This is like the perfect afternoon way for me to spend my afternoon. But before I let you go, is there anything else you kind of want to add before we say goodbye?
just looking forward to these. Excited for you to interview some of our players and some of our coaches and front office staff. I think this is a great partnership.
Yeah.
Really excited about the station. Obviously, very much in its infancy, and we are the same. Although you guys are essentially rebranding and changing your identity, we're doing a little bit of the same too with ourselves. So it's kind of works perfectly. We look forward to these, and again, if you want to be involved in this new arena, you want to get your foot in the door early. Our rookie tournament's the first thing to circle on the list. So it's something
Perfect.
that doesn't happen every year. Next time we'll host is probably going to be 5 or 6 years from now. So make sure to comment and check it out. Again, full details on our website.
Perfect. We will see you there. Well, Nick, thanks so much for your time and all of your insight. And I'm so looking forward to this. I can't
Yeah,
wait for our next one that we do.
can't wait, and we're excited to see you back in SAP Center hopefully soon. The season's right around the corner. So thank
Yes.
you, Emily, and we appreciate the time. Excited for these as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Nick. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.